Can anybody say 2,000 mules? I kick off my segment with this comment because there are 3 election cases that are in court right now. And one of those 3 has already resulted in an overturned election. And when you hear the details, you cannot help but think about 2,000 mules, because what is being disputed in these cases is precisely illegal votes in some cases being delivered illegally, with money changing hands for the people making those illegal deliveries, using mail-in drop boxes, all captured on, you guessed it, surveillance video. And I think what's happened is that when people look at the surveillance video in these cases, they're like, oh my gosh, this is what we saw in 2,000 Mules. This was actually Megyn Kelly. I just saw Megyn Kelly, an episode where she was talking to, I think it was Adam Carolla. And Megyn said, she goes, you know, when I was having Dinesh on last year to talk about 2,000 Mules, some of my friends told me, don't have Dinesh on because even though he's a smart guy, the movie is full of lies. And Megyn Kelly's like, how do you know it's lies? I mean, have you talked to any of those people on that surveillance video? Do you have any knowledge of the situation? You don't. You have no idea. You're just assuming it's lies because you've swallowed the propaganda that this was the safest, most secure election in history. So fortunately, Megyn wasn't conned by this kind of attempt to intimidate her. Oh, it's all lies. And this is, as long as they can do that in a chorus, it works. But what's happening with these cases is essentially the truth is starting to come out. And I think the reason the truth is coming out is because these are fights among Democrats. In fact, in an interesting case, you have, well, one of the cases involves a Democratic judge in Connecticut. This is probably the most prominent case. In Bridgeport, Connecticut, the judge has overturned the results of a Democratic mayoral primary, and he's ordered a new election. And why? Because the judge saw video after video of the Democratic clerk stuffing illegal ballots into the city Dropbox and visiting it multiple times in a single day. The video was, by the way, leaked by a whistleblower. It was put out by Gateway Pundit. And after the video was released, the guy who lost the mayoral race, a guy named John Gomes, held a press conference. He goes, I've got a lot of evidence of cheating. He put it out there and decided to challenge this in court. It went to court. And the city registrar of voters admitted in court that she had been violating the law on mail-in ballots for years. She's been in her position, by the way, for 20 years. I think what we're learning here is that Democrats have perfected these cheating strategies on themselves. And they've also been doing it for a long time. They might have ramped it up under COVID, but they didn't invent this sort of strategy for the 2020 election. They've been doing it beforehand. They were doing it in their own races, even in local races. And this is where the evidence is now coming out. Now, there's been shocking footage coming out of Springfield, Massachusetts, where you can see people committing fraud right in front of your eyes. In fact, City Hall officials have written sworn affidavits saying that the candidate, his name is Justin Hurst, basically was paying homeless people $10 to vote for him. So he drives you to the ballot box. When you arrive at the ballot box, you're given an I voted early sticker. You show him the sticker, and then you get the money. And let's remember, if you remember 2,000 Mules, we talked about mules being paid per ballot. What was the amount of money that was described as being paid per ballot? $10. So again, obviously we have nothing to do with this particular case, but isn't it interesting that the fee per vote is exactly the same as described in 2,000 Mules? So this stuff is now coming out. It's blowing ultimately the whistle that this stuff is real. It's not made up. And even though there wasn't follow-up investigations, which by the way is not totally a surprise, the investigations in Mules were done in Democratic districts. But the real problem is that there were Republicans who were in a position to do these investigations, but never did. I'm thinking, for example, of the Republican Attorney General in Arizona. He could have done it. He never did. Or he never did a thorough investigation of Mules. Same in Georgia. There's a Republican establishment. They could have investigated. They didn't. In other words, no systematic investigation, no attempt to interview the Mules, no attempt to trace where they got those ballots, even though you see backpacks of ballots in the film. So it's nice to be to have this vindication. In other words, I didn't really need it. The vindication of the movie is in the movie itself. It's the evidence put forward in the film. But here is some supporting data coming out later that goes, guys, you were on the right track after all. Mike Lindell just keeps on introducing great deals. He's featuring the all-new My Towels. Save 50% off the 6-piece towel set, regular price $59.96, but now, for a limited time, $29.98 with promo code Dinesh. Debbie and I have Mike's My Towels all over the house. We love them for ourselves. We also love to get them as Christmas presents. Very practical. Good idea for you to think about. The My Towels 6-piece set includes 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths. These towels are just amazing. The long staple length of Sherper cotton fibers makes them very soft. Because of the long fibers, they wrap around each other more easily, creating a smoother and softer fabric. Soft to the touch without the lotiony feel, and also super absorbent. So take advantage of the 50% off on the 6-piece towel set. Call 800-876-0227 or go to mypillow.com. Make sure to use the promo code. It's DINESH Dinesh.